Good morning. Today is Monday, October 14, 2024, and of course, we are on this set of Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. On today's program, we are just going to be looking at some select newspapers' front headline stories, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. As we normally do on the program, we like to flag up with Leadership newspaper. Leadership's leading story today says 3 months after food import waiver policy fails to take off. 3 months after, food import waiver policy fails to take off. Stringent guidelines, complex policies behind failure. Food prices still on the rise. Riders to the leading story today on Leadership, 14th October 2024, 3 months after food import waiver policy fails to take off. Stringent guidelines, complex policies behind failure. Food prices still on the rise. Let's just get a snippet of that story on page 4 of Leadership. It reads, 3 months after the federal government rolled out an import duty waiver scheme on food items to address the country's growing food insecurity, the scheme has failed to take off. The scheme, designed to make essential food items more affordable and stabilize rising prices, has yet to benefit a single importer or company. Industry stakeholders have cited overly stringent guidelines as the primary reason for its failure. The government announced the implementation of the import duty waiver program on July 15, 2024, and the plan was that it will run through December 31, 2024. These are some paragraphs on that leading story on Leadership today. Food import waiver policy fails to take off 3 months after. Of course, let's see other headline stories on Leadership. Irate youth burned down police station in Edo. Irate youth burned down police station in Edo. The story runs on page 6 of Leadership. Controversy over Enugu's mortuary tax. Yoruba Nation, Igboho petitions UK Prime Minister. NAF, that is Nigerian Air Force, to acquire 34 jets, helicopters. PDP crisis, Damagu Mohammed dig in as party leaders move for truce. The story runs on page 7 of on Leadership newspaper. Of course, it seems there's no end in sight for the crisis. Internal wranglings in PDP, Nigeria's main opposition party. PDP crisis, Damagu Mohammed dig in as party leaders move for truce. And on the business boss of Leadership, court verdict, reverse petrol price hike, Serap tells Tinubu. Court verdict, reverse petrol price hike, Serap tells Tinubu. Above the masthead of Leadership, Kwara to build power plant. Head of Zamfara community guard survives gun attack. From that, we move to the page 3 where we have our stand. Our stand is a permanent fixture on Leadership newspaper. Of course, is also the editorial, the stand of the paper every day. And today's stand is still on the plight of teachers. On October 5, Nigeria joined the global community in observing World Teachers Day. And today's stand is on the plight of teachers. From that, we move to the back page where we have Monday column with Dakuku Peter Side. Peter Side is writing on rivers of crisis today. Of course, it's a must read considering the developing story in that oil-rich region. With that, we conclude today's review of Leadership. For more, log on to the website www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to the next paper, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says petrol crisis, federal government resolves NNPCL marketers dispute. Petrol crisis, federal government resolves NNPCL marketers dispute as NNPCL refunds 15 billion naira to marketers after DSS intervention. Marketers Dangote refinery set for negotiation. Delay to impact domestic market. Many outlets still short. Experts call for instant resolution of pricing orders. Consumers should shift to alternatives. 11 PLC. That is the main headline story today on Vanguard. Petrol crisis, federal government resolves NNPCL marketers dispute. Beneath that, we have price of bread rising faster than inflation rate. And Baker says it will continue if, of course, the if is what you're going to also find answers to when you log on to the website of Vanguard. Flour millers give reasons for high prices. Production cost rises 45% to 2.2 trillion naira. Revenue rises faster at 47.5% to 2.5 trillion naira. DSS releases 2 #End Bad Governance protesters in Kaduna. 125 still in detention at Deanju. NAS considering raising VAT to 10% by 2025, according to documents obtained by Vanguard. NAS considering raising VAT to 10% by 2025. VC's appointment sparks role in Uni Abuja. And in sports, ahead of Eagles clash tomorrow, Libya in disarray as FA president resigns. That takes us to the story above the masthead of Vanguard. Edo government writes Okpebolo, APC on formation of transition team. Olu of Warri urges Africans to break free from mental limitations. That also concludes review on front headlines stories on Vanguard newspaper today, 14th October 2024. For more, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, we move over to the Punch. Punch is punching with import duty. Federal government may grant 60 private jets today. Import duty. Federal government may grant 60 private jets today. Top bank chairman, business moguls affected. NAMA gets list of affected planes. And underneath that headline story, we have pictures. Federal government Italy finalized talks on 34 new fighter jets. Beneath that, cooking gas price jumps to 1,500 per kg. Cooking gas price jumps to 1,500 per kg. Police probe gunmen attack on Plateau mining site. PDP approves Adaji-led Benue ESCO. And beside the masthead of the Punch, God never planned suffering for Nigerians. Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria. Above the masthead of the Punch, Dangote meets marketers Tuesday over new petrol price. Benin Togo owe Nigeria $5.7 million electricity debt neck. Benin Togo owe Nigeria $5.7 million electricity debt neck. PDP crisis, Damagun camp, anti-Wike governors may clash today. The story is on page 59 of The Punch. For more, log on to the website of the Punch newspaper, www.punchng.com. From the Punch, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian's leading story today says uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. Uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. The story runs on page 6 of The Guardian. PDP crisis deepens, Mohammed takes charge, demands swift action. Vacation, return home, citizens confused about your policies, CSOs urge Tinubu. Vacation, return home, citizens confused about your policies, CSOs urge Tinubu. The story runs on page 3 of The Guardian. Importers decry 25 million naira clearance for 45th container. Importers decry 25 million naira clearance for 45th empty container. The news is on page 23. The news is on page 3 of The Guardian. IMF slashes borrowing costs by 36%. Lowers country's exposure by $1.2 billion yearly. Reverse petrol price, pending court verdict, Serap tests Tinubu. The news runs on page 5 of The Guardian. Of course, with that, we conclude review of front headline stories on The Guardian. For more, log on to www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian, we move to the last paper on our menu today, and that is our sister publication, National Economy. National Economy is a weekly business paper on the stable of Leadership Media Group, and this week's headline story says 4 years after Nigeria's decade of gas plan wobbles. 4 years after Nigeria's decade of gas plan wobbles as government delays implementation of key program pillars. Setting global standard with foreign exchange code is the story that runs on page 15 of National Economy. And above the masthead of the paper, we have federal government offers tax relief on pharmaceuticals to cut costs. Nigeria's FDI hits record low of $29.83 million in second quarter. With that, we conclude review of front headline stories on the national economy, a weekly newspaper, business newspaper. And with that, also, we conclude today's Inside Nigeria, brought to you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Unfortunately, my guest for Monday is unavoidably absent. We look forward to having you same time, same station for another fresh on the program tomorrow. Here's wishing you a beautiful day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.